Welcome to the Built to Lead podcast. I am Jory Evans, and we have with us Tyler Wall.
Hello.
Per usual.
I'm back again.
Today we're talking about a new topic, a topic that actually, in my mind, is probably one of my worst traits and has been over the years in business. Something that we're learning now and doing better each and every day, but that I'm definitely not an expert on. I've learned some things. I've read some books on the topic, and we're trying new things, and we're new to it. But I think we can add value to it and kind of bring you along our journey in that respect.
Yeah.
That topic is marketing and customer service.
Yes. Exciting
stuff. It's interesting. Marketing is a bit of a business buzzword as well. I always use the buzzword phrase, but these words, businessy words that are out there that when you're first in business don't really mean anything to you. Like, I'm a high school dropout, dropping out of school, going to run a trucking company. I'm not like marketing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just not even in my vocabulary at that point. And I think in a lot of small business owners' cases, they're not coming out of marketing background. They're not thinking marketing. It's just not there, right? And it is an important part of business, but there's different aspects and layers to marketing. So I think we're going to break kind of the three layers of marketing down the way I see them today, and hopefully add value and perspective to you, the listener, in this scenario.
Well, and marketing is about people knowing who you are. Yeah. It's about finding the people that want your product and then being able to deliver it to them. Yeah.
Well, and knowing the market, marketing is taking your product or your service to market.
Yeah.
It's to your customers, right? And if you don't know who your customers are, your target market, your target audience, your avatar, these are all more words that we use in marketing that we're learning about each and every day. But it's really important that we actually understand how big the market is that we're taking our product to, how what our competitors in our marketplace are, what our market cap is, what our customer is like. Because in some cases, like, you might be running your business and you might not even be a target audience for what you're selling. Yeah. And I have to learn this all the time because we're in a bunch of different kinds of businesses. I'm in trucking, we're in mechanical work, we're in construction, real estate, and all these other things. Podcasting is honestly, marketing this podcast is in some ways a challenge because oftentimes the people who want to listen to the podcast that we're making right now aren't me. They're different than me, and they want information that I have or we are giving them, but it doesn't mean I necessarily always relate 100% to them.
Yeah, exactly.
And their needs and their wants and their styles and the way that they consume social media and all those types of things. And so marketing becomes important for us as the person providing the service or the product to be better at providing our service and our product and getting into the hands of people who need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So the number one, first, I'm going to break down, I think we got three different kinds of marketing here that are important. I think one's more important than the rest, which will be the last one we talk about. But I do think that it's important to understand the difference between the three kind of layers of marketing. So the first one I'm going to go into is paid advertising. So you can literally buy a commercial, radio ad. You can put social media posts up, which initially aren't paid, but you can put paid behind it to reach people because you have organic reach in your own social media. But when you pay social media, they put it in front of people who aren't organically within your reach. Right. So you're getting it in front of people's eyeballs and you're paying to get it there. Right. Yeah. So paid advertising. The good thing that I think that we've discovered in paid advertising is that when we pay for advertising, if you're putting out a bad advertisement that doesn't hit your avatar or your target market or doesn't speak to your customer, you're just going to throw money away.
Oh yeah, it's just tossing it away.
You have no idea where you're targeting at. You're not sure who you're putting it in front of, or you don't even have a demographic of any kind. You're going to throw a lot of money away doing that. Yeah. So if you're going to do paid advertising, make sure you're thinking about the eyeballs you're trying to put it in front of. Like, spend some time figuring out your target audience, your avatar, the person who's going to get the most value out of your advertisement.
Yeah.
Right?
You want to know, you want to have a persona in front of you, and this person likes cats. This person likes to go out to eat 3 times a week. This person likes to, watch TV. You'll know exactly what and you can target them with advertising.
Well, in our case, with the different types of business, the people we're targeting are completely different.
All different, yeah.
In each one. And so we had to do an exercise of going through, like, filtering that process in each company differently. Mm-hmm. Some of our businesses are business to business. So we're actually trying to sell to other businesses. And so the way that we market that is a completely different thing than direct customer.
Yes, right? Very different.
Very, very different. Like in the case of our mechanic shop, we have a lot of direct customer where we have one truck owning lease operator people coming in to get their truck work on. And how do we market to them versus marketing to a fleet is different.
Yeah, very different.
Right?
Yeah.
And then construction, you're marketing to one person who's going to build a multi-million-dollar product. Well, that's a very specific avatar. Not just everyone walking down the street is looking for a general contracting person to build a building for them.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's usually a lot of times a one-time customer.
Yeah.
They only want it once.
Yeah. Well,
and then maybe
or
another
once
15
every
years.
5 or 10 or 20 years. Right?
Yeah.
So it's the way you go about is completely different.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand that initially, you're going to throw money away like it's going out of style. So,
and you can target ideal customers too. Because sometimes they're in my target market, but I actually don't want a certain type of customer because they're more trouble than they're worth.
Well, and you need to also try and, in my mind, again, I always go back to this, but mission, values, vision.
Yep.
And so you want to get some alignment from your customers on that thing. So let's say we're selling hot dogs. Okay, well, everybody can eat a hot dog and it's direct to customer. So we're going to market it that way. But, I don't want to sell hot dogs to people that have bad attitudes and don't pay their bill at the end. Yeah, right. So we're going to filter that down to people who want to buy hot dogs who have integrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's kind of a silly idea, but like even our shop, like we're not selling, we're not trying to be the cheapest option. We're trying to sell a premium product. And so then we need to go after people who see the value in and are willing to pay for a premium product. Whereas some customers, they just want the cheapest option. And if that's what they want, they're not actually an ideal customer. They might need our service, but not be happy with our offering because they don't see the value in the premium service that we're providing. So there's all these different varieties in paid advertising. And I think it's very important that we kind of break the avatar down, we break the target market down, we break the customer down, we break our values down, and we make sure before we start paying to get it, that we filter that down so that when we send that marketing out, that it's getting in front of the right people. Every
dollar, and even the right channel as well.
Yeah.
Because, construction, very LinkedIn based, and a lot of radio, a lot of that kind of stuff. That's where you'd put your money. You wouldn't put it on Instagram.
Yeah. And you might still, but you are not going to put a big push there, or you might not get traction there. And
exactly.
And that's kind of another point that I wanted to make on this particular thing is if you can go and do some kind of basic general marketing yourself when you're small and in the early days before you really start thinking about putting real budgets towards marketing, it's good if you can create some organic growth. Like some people can totally market their product for free if they're really good themselves at marketing and if they get good organic connections on social media. But if you want to grow faster, you're going to put paid advertising behind it. But if you get that organic engagement first, you can really know who your target market is, because the people who you're engaging with early are your target audience. They're your avatar. You can pick through those people and look at, they'll tell you a lot about who else you need to market to.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So number 2, experiencing your product. This is something that's, I was a little, I'm not going to say surprised by when I read about it and thought about it and kind of rolled it around, but people want to experience your product. People are stingy with their money. They're not just going to go out. Like you have early adopters, you have midway, once the product's proved adopters, and then you have late adopters. So the early adopters like, oh, a new thing, I want to try it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a very small percentage of the marketplace is willing to try new things, right? Those people are few and far between. You can't build a business on early adopters, right? Then you have the like sub early adopters that are like, okay, well, I've seen this a few times. It's still a newish product. It's not really proven, but I've heard a few good things. Okay, I'm going to try it. Then there's like everybody else. 80% of the market is like, okay, it's been around for a while. I know lots of people that have tried it. I've seen it. I've tasted. I've gotten that. Well, if you want to get someone from early adopter, or get the people who don't want to go until it's proven to them, you got to give them an opportunity to try it, because once someone's tried it, they can formulate their own opinion. And then the chance of you selling to them is way higher. But when they can't try it, then the 80% of the market's just not going to jump in and try your product or your service. So I think like it's kind of like the Costco thing. It's like you go into Costco, you're walking down the aisle, and then they have the little sausages thing. And excuse me.
The food.
And Costco is not stupid. They know how this works. And so do the people who are trying to sell their product, is they go, okay, we're going to put these little sausagey things here, and you're going to put one in your mouth and you're going to eat it. And you're going to go, oh, that's good. And you're going to pick up a package of sausages. Would you have picked that package of new sausages that you've never seen before off the rack without tasting it?
Most likely not.
10% of people will.
Yeah.
Right? But not 80%. And you're looking for the 80%. So if you can find a way to get your customers to touch, taste, and feel your product or your service in some way that is free or really low barrier to entry, you're going to get way more buy-in from your thing. So a way of marketing is giving out opportunities for people to try your product or your service. That's like if you're a massage therapist, giving a 15-minute free massage therapy. If you're selling food, that's giving taste testing. If that's selling services, it's a free quote or a free connection or a free trying, or the first one's free or the first one's discounted or whatever, right? And it's like I don't like to push discounted, because I don't think discounting and selling your product creates value. You're devaluing it in some ways. But when it becomes to initial try stuff, I think there is value in it, because you're trying to get them over the hump to try your product. Because if you have a great product or service, once they try it, that they're going to be in as a customer. Yeah. Right.
It's about making a deal so good that they would feel stupid not taking the deal. Yeah,
exactly. So that's the deal, or ideally free somehow. And like, this is really hard in trucking. Like really hard for me to truck a load for you for the first time for free when it's a $5,000 to $10,000 thing, right? And maybe I would be willing to invest that in a big customer that has a big client or potential, but it's really hard to give someone free testing to your service. Yeah. So this is also where I go into some of an idea of a digital testing and then social proof, and the idea of what social proof is. Yeah. So when we market ourselves on social media, digitally, visually, when we're posting videos and we're posting testimonies and we're putting value out into the marketplace via even a podcast that you're giving out for free, that you get to know who I am and what I think and what my values are for free through my podcast before you'd ever have any contact with any of my businesses. It is an option for me to give you a free test of who I am that builds social proof with you without you and I ever meeting. Yeah. Right. And so that's one way of doing it. When we post videos of our trucks, if we post videos of our, of our loads being tarped, of delivering to a customer, and we have a billboard and we show our values and we do all these things, we're giving in a very gentle way the customer an opportunity to taste and touch and feel what we're doing as close as we can without giving them an actual try of what you're doing. Yeah. Right. And if you have a small enough product that you can give people the opportunity to try it, absolutely do that. Yeah. But if you can't do that because what your product is too expensive or too big or too hard or whatever, you need to try and find a way to connect with your customer and give them the opportunity to see, touch, taste, feel, or get the feeling of that through digital connection. Right? Absolutely. Yeah. We're always trying to put out our culture so that people can see it, so they can experience it, so they can see clean trucks, excellent service, all that stuff. Yeah. Every testimonials. Post. Yeah. Right. Which, okay, that's going to segue into the next thing. But for right now, what I want to focus on is the idea of social proof. And it's social proof comes through all forms of marketing, right? But social proof is when you become comfortable with someone who's new or that you haven't tried before because you see them everywhere. You see a billboard, you see a social media post, you see one of their trucks driving down the road. Then you see it parked in your neighbor's driveway and they're doing a home service for them, or you see a guy running with the watch that you've been looking at and he's using that watch, or your friend buys one, or like the more you see it, then you hear it on the radio, then you get a pamphlet in the mail. Like when these things are hitting you constantly, we naturally as humans, the more we see something, the more we trust it, because well, that guy did it. Well, that guy did it. You're seeing other people using it and tasting it. And even if they're not referring you to it, it's just creating social proof, right?
Yeah.
And if you go and hear me on the internet talking about my values and telling me what you're doing, and I'm sticking around for a while, I'm creating social proof, right? And I'm creating it way faster by having more touches.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And so that's a way through advertising and through experiencing the product that you can build social proof with your customers. So the third thing that I want to talk about is word of mouth. And this, when I said there's one that's more important than the rest, this is the one that I'm talking about. Word of mouth is the differentiator when it comes to marketing. You will never, ever be able to market better than customer referrals and just natural organic word of mouth. And so the best way to create word of mouth and how to do that is to create wowing experiences with your customers, to create good connection and relationship with your customers. Okay. If you are looking at a product or service and someone you know, or even someone you don't know, is talking about that in a positive manner, it's like instantly you believe. Because what's that person's benefit for sharing that experience? They're not paid. They're not giving any kind of special benefit for selling it to you. They're just telling you about it because they liked it so much. And if that's true, then obviously you're going to like it so much.
Yeah.
And of course, if that person is someone that you trust, even more so.
Yeah.
Right. And so word of mouth and customer referrals are absolutely massive for building your business. This is something that I have been reasonably good at since the beginning of our business years of going in business, because without the other two forms of advertising, if you get this part figured out, you can grow your business on a pretty consistent and fast scale just off this one piece of marketing. And it doesn't typically cost really anything other than your time and your energy, right?
Yeah.
And so word of mouth is another way of creating social proof, of course, but it's the special thing. So what you want to ask yourself is, what would I need to do to get my customer to be so wowed or so exceptionally happy with the experience that they have that they would tell their friend or 5 friends or every person that they meet, right? It needs to be such an experience that it comes to mind all the time. If it's not wowing, it's not good enough. A good experience is not good enough for word of mouth.
Exactly.
It has to be exceptional. And so what makes you exceptional? What differentiates you enough that someone would tell a story about your business to someone else?
Yep.
Right. And so I'm going to segue that in, how do we get more customer referrals? And the answer to that is customer service. Right. And customer service gets a bad rap. Like, I think when you think about big corporations and they go, I'm going to go talk to customer service. You think about going to Walmart with your busted electronic piece of junk or whatever it is, the broom that you bought that snapped before you put it together, or, you're bringing this product back and you're upset and in most people's mind, customer service is the complaint department where I have to wade through the BS to try and get my money back from these stupid people.
Yep.
Right. That's my experience with customer service. Right. But that's not what customer service actually means. Customer service is the opportunity for you to make a connection with your customer that is wowing and create an experience with them. That's what customer service is. And when you train your people, or when you yourself as the owner or, head person, leader of your business, you need to be thinking about customer service and your customer first as the best opportunity for you to grow your business. Every customer that walks through the door, every interaction, every opportunity that you have is the best marketing opportunity that you have out there, and the cheapest one. The cheapest marketing opportunity is to wow the person that's already in your business, already buying your service, to the point that they're going to go out and tell 5 people about it and bring you 5 customers back.
Yeah.
It's a multiplying effect.
Yeah.
If you put money out into paid advertising, you get like a 2 to 3% return on that in customer leads.
Yes.
Right. So if we get 100 people to look at something and 2 to 3 people call us, we're killing it in the paid advertising world. So we're paying for 100 and we're getting 3. You get 1 customer and they go and tell 5 people, you got a 500% return on that. And so where do you want to focus? You want to focus on that part.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and the added benefit too is if you get your funnel going right, and you know what your customer is, your ideal customer, you know exactly who they are, you will actually know the pain points before they even walk in. And so you can take your customer service and you can have all those things detailed, all those touch points, so that when they come in, you're not on reactionary mode, you're on proactionary mode, and you're actually able to solve their problems before they even come in. And then they come in and you have all those solutions, and they're like, whoa, that's crazy. They knew what I wanted before I even knew it.
Mm-hmm. That's wowing.
Yeah, that's wowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the lost art, I think, in a lot of business. Like you can be an incredible salesman, and you can go out and you can market and you can get paid advertising, you can do all these things. And then if you follow it up with crap customer service, you're losing all the benefit you have. So when you have good sales, you get 3 out of 100 coming in and buying your product and trying your product. And when you have bad customer service, you turn those 3 into 1 or to 0. And so you have to keep pumping that paid advertising forever. Yeah. It never ends. And you have to make new customers all the time to come and buy your service or your product. And you'll never scale and you'll never grow your business. But when you finally, you hang your shingle and you do your thing and you get that final opportunity, that customer walks through the door and is going to use your product and your service, that's where your potential return is. And guess what? You're doing your business anyway. How much harder is it to do it in a way that's a little bit wowing or exceptional rather than just good enough?
Yeah. It's worth the investment, 500%.
500%. So like it's what, 3% of 500%? How many times is that?
That's too much math for me.
150 times or whatever. Return in comparison. So you could spend 150 times the money creating an exceptional customer experience as you can on paid advertising, theoretically.
Theoretically, yeah.
Right. And so how do we create an exceptional, wowing experience for our customers? And I think you were on a key point there, Tyler, that I think is really good. And I've found this to be true in the like fast trajectory of growth in our mechanic shop. So when we started our mechanic shop, as a trucking company, we were very frustrated with the service we were getting in maintenance and mechanical repairs and dealing with dealerships and other shops. We just felt like we were getting screwed all the time, right? We can't afford to do this. It's inefficient. It's terrible. We're always having to bring trucks back. They never do it in the time that, excuse me, in the time that they want it done. And so it's just a constant downtime issue. We've got upset drivers. Then things are not fixed properly, quality enough. Then they're charging way. Like it's just, there's so many things. And we knew all of the pain points and the frustrations as the customer. So when we opened our shop, it wasn't really that hard to know what our customers needed and wanted to create an exceptional experience. It's like, get them in really quick when they need to get here. Ask them, how much do you like, what's your hurry on this? Do you have to be out tomorrow? Do you have no timeline? Because some customers are like, oh no, you can have it for 2 weeks. I'm not going to need it. Like a farmer who's in the off season. Yeah. I'll come get it whenever you're done. And then the guy who's running the highway right now, he's like, I got a load to deliver on Monday and it's Thursday afternoon. So you have 1 day to get this done, right? Totally different things. But if you take all that information and you puzzle piece it together properly, you can create the service that guy needs and that guy needs in that moment, right? And also you can communicate with a guy that's in a hurry in a way that's more consistent, and you can make decisions for him as his service provider that will serve him. We say, okay, we can't completely fix your repair, but we can patch this up, get you over to your load, and then you need to come back when you have 2 or 3 days to get this fixed, and we'll finish the repair. Yeah. Right? Because you understand that pain point for him. Right? And so that is where customer service is going to the next level. We need to take every touch point with our customer along the way, and we need to break that down into, how do I make this not a mediocre good experience, but an exceptional experience? How do I make it, like when you look at the branding of our companies, how do I make it wowing when the customer walks in the front door of my business? What has to be wowing? Well, we've spent a ton of time with our branding and our buildings and our entries and everything to make sure when they walk through the door, it's like, whoa. Because guess what? When people walk into our buildings, go, this is impressive. This is crazy. I've never seen something like this before. This is the nicest place I've ever seen. Well, does that sound like something that you might tell a story to your friend about?
Yeah.
Have you been to Evans HD's new building?
It looks so cool.
Wild. You got to go there. It is so cool. I've never seen anything like, they're going to talk about that. But if it's just a square building with a regular door with nothing fancy about it, and the guy's just like, hey, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Is he going to tell anyone about it?
Or in someone giving directions too. Oh, it's one of the square buildings. You can say the front of the building looks like a semi truck. You can't miss it. You'll see it from 5 blocks away.
Yeah. And when your guy at your parts counter, when they walk in, he's like, hey, how's your day going? Or remembers who you are because your regular customer knows your equipment already when you walk through the door. Man, that guy, he remembers everything. He knew exactly what my truck was, and he knew what part I was getting, and he had it ready for me when I got to the door. And like, what are the pain points that other people have, and how can you turn that into a wowing, exceptional experience for them on the other side? The thing, like another story in trucking is, and this is all businesses, but I found it to be exceptionally bad in trucking, is just people being dishonest. And it shouldn't be a way to wow your customer, but just being very honest with people and candid has been a wow factor that people have talked about our trucking company. Oh, I called their dispatcher and they were running late, and they told me that the driver actually had slept in. They apologized and they took care of the problem. Mm-hmm. Right? A story that came from this is and a point I'd like to make about customer service is the times that you screw up and make it like you do something bad, how you respond to that particular scenario is an opportunity to make a wowing customer experience.
Yeah.
So my dad used to tell this story a lot, is when he was still driving truck and he still had just a few trucks, he picked up this load of lumber in Vancouver down at the dock somewhere. And he said it was like waterlogged, gross, ugly. Like he said, it looked like a load of scrap lumber. And he's just like, ugh, what is this garbage? It's all weird to strap down. And then on his paperwork says this has to be tarped. And he's like, man, this is garbage wood. I'm not tarping this. So he doesn't tarp it, straps her down, goes, delivers it in somewhere in Alberta. Then they find out that it's an extremely special wood that was imported from another country, and it has this specific look, and it had gotten wet and it wrecked a part of the outer layer of the load in transportation. And it was he just hadn't picked up on it. To him, it was ugly. To someone else, this is dream wood from China or whatever thing, right? And so, of course, the customer is very upset. And so rather than being like, well, you didn't do it, he just walked in there and just apologized to them, said that he would pay for everything that needed to be taken care of, that he would handle it. He took personal responsibility, said, I'm the owner of the company. I didn't realize that this was a high value load, and I'm very sorry. Called the broker who gave him the load, who he'd never dealt with before, apologized, said he'd take care of it, handled it all with like grace and humility and everything else. He said, they were so impressed with how I dealt with it that they gave me every other load that they have after that.
Wow.
I screwed up on the first one and like could have played the fool, or I could have been like, yeah, sorry, see you later, and never ever dealt with them again. I could have done that. But they became one of the best customers that he had starting out.
Yeah.
Because of being honest, being humble, and trying to
take
responsibility for the mistake that he made, and just communicating it well. Well, why is that exceptional? Well, because that's not how other people do things.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the value.
Yeah, well, and you didn't create value. You cost them. You made it a problem for them. It's actually a pain in their butt, because now they got to get other things brought in, and it's adds a whole rigmarole. But it's so exceptional that someone would take responsibility, not make excuses, not blame someone else, be humble, apologize right out the gate, and just honestly say, hey, it's not like, oh, you didn't tell me I had to be like, everyone wants to make excuses and lie and cover their butt somehow. We live in a world of covering our butt. Yeah,
it's everybody else's problem.
Everybody else says, I'm a victim. It wasn't me. It's his fault. Excuse, whatever. But that creates exception. And that, in that case, created a lifetime customer. Just by being honest like that. And guess what? That customer told other customers, which helped build his business over the next decade because of how he treated them. Yeah. Right? Another scenario that we've gone through this year is that we've had a parts supplier through our shop who gave us, they were new to us. We were really in need of their specific type of parts. They weren't available through COVID. And so we had to make some decisions and go with some new suppliers that had availability of parts. In the long run, they ended up being very bad, faulty parts that caused a ton of pain and suffering for our customers, which sucks. I'll tell you what sucks when you're trying to sell a premium product and be a premium brand and you sell a whole whack of faulty parts. Whether you had no choice or not, quote unquote, doesn't matter because it all comes back on you in the end. So when these parts start coming back, so-called warranty on their end, no, they're gone. They're in the wind. They're not responding. They're not going to pay for it. Oh, man. And so this particular warranty debacle, we don't guarantee or offer any specific papered warranty. So we don't have to stand behind anything. But we sold the product to our customers. We put it on, and what was $120 part failure cost in many cases $30,000 to $40,000 in damage to our customers' vehicles, to their engines. And so what do you do there? You go, oh, sorry, the supplier didn't provide any warranty. Yeah. That sucks. Sucks to be you. To a whole variety of your customers. Not all of our customers, but a good chunk of our, some of our really good customers were affected by that. But we felt that we needed to stand behind, and we're a premium brand. We're going to stand behind it. If we chose to sell it, that's on us. We told you that this is what it is, and we put it on your vehicle. Then we got to stand behind it. So we did. We stand behind it to the tune. Now we're talking $750,000 to $1 million worth of warranty repairs that we've put out over this particular product failure and a couple of other similar type incidences because of the whole COVID parts shortages thing. And it hurt. It hurt real bad. But in conversating about it, and there's one thing is we just decided that it was the right and integral thing to do as a shop. Thankfully, it wasn't enough to take us out as a shop because in a lot of cases it could have. But the offshoot of that is how we communicated it to our customers, how we took care of them, how we made sure that we paid for everything and provided we paid for towing. We brought them in on their schedule. We gave them, in a lot of cases, more expensive and better products than they paid for initially into their vehicles to fix the problem. Sometimes they had to come back multiple times, have multiple repairs done related to that. So we just did the right thing, did the right thing. And to date, as far as I'm aware, I think we've only had one customer that was unhappy with the product experience and hasn't returned out of probably 20 to 25 customers.
Well, that's good.
And many of those customers have been our biggest proponents and helped us grow our company by using word of mouth to tell other people about how well we took care of them and how we covered the warranty claim, even though that we weren't getting coverage for it, and that we stood behind them and behind our product and behind our work in the long run. So that's going to cost us money up front. But it's going to help us grow and scale our business going forward. And that word of mouth is a wow factor thing, right? We needed to do something that differentiates us from what most other businesses would do. And that was exceptional enough that we would retain our customers and get more on the other end. And so those are just two stories that we've dealt with, some old stories, some fresh stories, but that's how you do business.
Yeah.
Right. And if you can take those bad opportunities and you can flip them on their head and redeem them to really show how good of a company you are and how what you're capable of and really wow your customer, that can translate into multiples of increase and benefit in the long run.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing is just communicate with your customers. Don't take responsibility. Don't kick the can to someone else or down the road for that matter.
Yeah. You can do business that way and most people do. And do they survive and get through it? Yeah. They keep going, but they have to find new customers and they have to take, in some cases, years of being trashed by their customers. And the internet is a very unforgiving place, so you're going to get negative customer referrals and you're going to get all these things that happen. And it's going to take you a long time to wade through those bad decisions you made when you didn't do what was right and you didn't create a wowing experience. You created a horrible experience. Well, your horrible experiences are going to be 10 times as vocal as your positives. The other thing is that the the person who is the upset customer, who you wow on the way out the door in that scenario, the one who's going to tell everybody that you did something wrong is also the person who's going to tell everybody when you do something exceptional. So picking out those particular instances when you know that this is a really hard customer to please, if you can really blow their socks off, they're going to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Right? It's an opportunity. You got to see these things as opportunities. Another thing, so that's what dealing with the bad scenarios, okay? When you're trying to do customer service from a good scenario where you're setting the tone or setting a wowing experience, something that's important to understand is that wowing customer service is never convenient or efficient. So a lot of companies try to do things that are efficient and convenient that appear to be good customer service. Okay, we have an automated card. Every time a customer comes in, it auto sends an email thanking them for their business. Okay, people don't care about that.
Yeah.
You know, is it nice? Maybe. No, it's actually more annoying than it is nice, right? Because people know it's automated. They know it's not genuine. They know it's not personal. They know you're just trying to win them over with cheap tricks.
Yeah.
Right? If you go, okay, well, the customer's in here and their car's in here and we were doing this anyway, but then we tried and say, oh, okay, well, we also changed your oil, just so you know, while you're doing that. Well, you had to drop the oil to do the repair. So,
yeah,
you know, like you're trying to create an efficiency and tell me that you did me a favor.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? People can see through that. They don't vibe with that, right? Yeah. Real customer service, the wowing kind of customer service, is always inefficient and it's always inconvenient. So when you take time to get a personal handwritten note and you mail it with a gift card, or you hand deliver it to a customer and tell them how you appreciate their business, that's inconvenient. It's not scalable.
Yeah,
if you have 1,000 customers, do you think you can write 1,000 handwritten emails or handwritten letters and hand them out? It seems impossible, right? And so then that's what will actually blow a customer's socks off, is like, that guy has 1,000 people coming through the door and he wrote me a handwritten letter and delivered to me and thanked me for my business. He didn't have time to do that, right? And so these taking these moments to do inefficient, inconvenient things are the things that will wow customers. And so when you start thinking about customer service, make sure that you're not trying to gamify the system or create a scenario that's convenient for them, for you and not for them, right? You want to make things convenient and better for them, not for you. And when they see that and perceive that it means much more to them, right?
Do you have an example of one of those instances?
Yeah, there's a couple that we've done recently that I think are good ones. We have a marketing team. Tyler, you're head of that marketing team right now. But we do a lot of video productions kind of with in-house for ourselves. And so one thing that we recently did is we were trying to figure out a way to wow our customer at the completing end of a building project. And so, you know, they've spent $1 million, $2 million by the time it's over. It's been a long process. You know, obviously we want them to be happy with their product, so we're going to make sure we're delivering it clean and everything's right. But that's just good, right? Like we did everything good. I'm going, how do we, one, complete on a really good foot and finish the job and hand the keys and let them get into their business, but then show up and wow them yet again a couple weeks or months later. So what we did is we created a really cool video of all the build through of the whole of their building, with their logoing on it and their marketing. So we basically created a marketing package for them and their product and their location, and we built that, and then we gave it to them after the fact, thanking them for their business. We didn't put Evans Pro logos on it. We didn't spin it so that we looked good. We didn't do anything like that. We just did it completely for them, for their purpose and for their use. Because that was the tempting part, is, okay, well, it'd be really convenient if we're making this video for ourselves anyways. Yeah. And it's all our logoing and our product and our message and all that kind of stuff. And then we sent it to them. Okay, well, they know that's just marketing for yourself. Yeah. But so when we spent the time and energy to make the video about them, put their logo pop up on the screen, showed off their building and their people and all that kind of stuff and their culture and what they're doing with the product, it's all about them and it doesn't benefit us at all.
Yeah.
Right. And they perceive that immediately. I was told a couple of weeks ago that they have that video running in their showroom, in their corporate head office, not the one we built, in their corporate head office in Ontario. And that they really were surprised and wowed and happy with that product. Did it cost us a bunch of time? Absolutely. Did it cost a bunch of energy and yeah, but it's a $2 million product that we sold them, right? Like, you can't tell me that they can't do that. And now we're quoting another project for them, right? Yeah. And so, and I would be very surprised if they haven't told other people about it, but they're telling other people about it when they're showing their video of their building.
Absolutely.
Who built that for you, right? So that's one example. Another one, Colin talked about it in the last podcast, but I thought it was a really good example of a really upset customer. And they had a warranty issue with a vehicle that they had. I don't think it was actually even a big thing. Like, you could have sent them a part. They could have taken it to a shop and had it changed, like an alternator or something like that, failed. But Colin's partner, who's their operations manager, hopped on a plane, flew from Canada down to New Jersey with the part, changed the part at his location, shook hands, said hi, got to know the guy a little bit, took him up for dinner, and then flew home.
Wow.
Right? And this guy, who was earlier posting on social media and threatening them with legal action, Colin said, has sold more new trucks for them since they did that than any other customer ever has by word of mouth.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so could they have mailed him the part and called the shop down there, a mechanic, to come put the part on for him? Yeah, that would have been the most convenient way to deal with it. Yeah. But it's really inconvenient for one of the company's owners to hop on a plane and hand deliver the product to put it on. But the perception and the understanding is that, wow, that's exceptional. Like, that's something I'm going to tell people about. Yeah. And so they took a situation that was negative and turned it into an opportunity.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's fantastic. And that is why word of mouth is the most powerful form of marketing that you can do, right? And so being operationally excellent and providing an amazing, wowing customer service is the thing that's going to take your marketing to the next level. You can add on taste, touch, feel, try the products. You can add on paid advertising. You can add on social media and bolt on these other things, but you can grow a business on word of mouth and customer service alone. And I'm proof of that. We haven't done really any kind of paid advertising or taste, touch, feel ideas until the last 2 years, which is helping us. And I think I would look at it this way. If you're thinking about an engine and you got a 6-cylinder engine and you're firing on 4 cylinders, will the engine run? Yeah, it will run. Will it have low power? Will it not go very fast? Absolutely. But if you can be firing on all cylinders, you're going to go a lot faster, a lot farther, and a lot quicker. And so that's how marketing and having all these different aspects of marketing work, is that if you're doing the basic things right, you're going to continue, you're going to get down the road, you're going to grow, things are going to happen, but it's going to happen slower. Right? It's the one you should focus on first, get the engine running and going. But if you want to rocket to the moon, you're going to need all cylinders firing.
Have a plan in place.
And have a plan. And you might get advice from people who understand marketing and avatar and target market and market cap and all these fancy marketing words. But from a baseline, I'm just starting out, or I don't even like to think about talk about marketing. Number one focus is I need customer word of mouth. I need to create a wowing experience. And part of it is just being an exceptional, excellent business. But the other part is understanding that it takes that little bit of an extra edge, that inconvenient, inefficient little step extra that wows your customer, that helps them bring you back 5 more.
Yep.
Right. So that, without further ado, I think this will be a little shorter than other podcasts we have, because I guess I'm not the guru of marketing, but that's my understanding of marketing and how we have utilized it over the years and the things that we're doing now to make progress and grow our marketing.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Yeah. And so that concludes actually our 12 part series on how to build an epic business. I really recommend that you go back and listen to all of the ones. There's a few move the needles mixed in there. I think this is number 16 of total podcasts on this channel.
Yeah.
But there's the 12, excuse me, the 12 specific podcasts about building an epic business. And the reason we started this initially I really highly recommend going back and listening to those one at a time, going through. Over the last almost 20 years, I've read hundreds of books on business, and I've built 3 significant businesses here that are pretty successful in my mind. We're north of 150 employees and $50 million in annual revenues. All the things that I've learned to build those businesses to the point where we are now, I am spreading out for you in basically 12 hours in those podcasts. So you can go read the hundreds of books that I've read, and you can learn a lot of things the hard way, but these are 12 stepping stones that are going to take away a lot of pain and frustration and speed up the process for you. And I really do feel there's a lot of value in there. And I do get a lot of messages on a weekly basis from people that are getting value out of this podcast and following along on the journey and making progress because of it. So thank you to those who have reached out. I really do appreciate it. It's we're putting a lot of effort and time into this podcast, making it. I got Tyler and Sky shooting videos and doing reels and running clips and spending time writing the content and preparing it for you guys. And I do really feel like, and we do that all completely for free. So we're trying to give you guys value. That is what business is, and that is what branding is giving more value than you're charging for. And so I hope you guys are appreciating it. The next episode we're going to record here will be a short one, just kind of outlining the direction we're going to go from here off the podcast. This is Built to Lead is a podcast that's about tactical business advice and leadership skills. And we've spent a lot of time on tactical business to this point. And so we're going to be segueing into a lot more of a leadership focus, and we're going to break into some new avenues, have some new guests on the thing and interviews and things like that to bring you value and build you in your leadership and your understanding of business. So thanks again. Please like, share, review online. We appreciate it.
Yes.
This is on all different platforms. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify. It's on Podbean. It's everything. On YouTube. It's on everywhere.
Yeah.
So definitely subscribe and like us and follow along. And we appreciate any feedback you give. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, everybody.